I have been in Guangzhou for half a month, and I haven't found a job. I am going to collapse. I thought I could easily find a decent job in Guangzhou, and I was so picky. Now I just want to have a job and income. You may not believe it, but in Guangzhou, many delivery men sleep in bridge holes. In order to save money, they are reluctant to rent a house, eat and sleep outdoors every day, and go to deliver food after waking up, just to save money to support their families. If it is not forced by life, who would be willing to live such a wandering life? As China's economy continues to decline, the unemployment problem is becoming more and more serious. Some people who are unemployed do not want to let their families know, so they pretend to go to work every day and stay in the library, Starbucks, etc. for a day. White-collar workers have a hard time when they are unemployed, and the lives of lower-class people are even harder. In big cities like Guangzhou and Shanghai, some workers set up tents and lived under bridges to save rent. After being exposed by the media, they were cleared out by the authorities. Today, we will talk about related topics. Recently, many mainland netizens have been shouting on the internet that they are unemployed and can't find a job. Some netizens said, "I have been unemployed for 4 months. Many people around me who are working dare not resign. They hold on no matter how hard or tiring it is." There are also messages saying, "I am 37 years old and have been unemployed for 3 years. When I was unemployed in the first year, I kept looking for a job, but basically everyone disliked my age. Now I have given up and returned to my hometown to lie down there." Some netizens said, "I can't find a job in Shanghai. Let me tell you about the current employment situation in Shanghai. I left my job at the end of July 2024, and I haven't found a job until now. Doesn't it sound outrageous? I worked as a financial manager in a well-known company for 7 years and led a small team of 7 people, but I couldn't find a job. Is there something wrong with me? I tell you it's not my problem, but the current employment situation is too severe. I started to use job search software at the end of August, and so far, I think there are only 20 to 30 jobs suitable for me. The key is that most of the recruitment information has not been updated for 4 or 5 months. As a result, even if I actively contact 100 people in the recruitment market, only 3 or 5 will respond to me. Netizens lamented that it is too difficult for college graduates with no family background to find a job. I am really going to collapse. Is it so difficult for college students to find a job now? Are college students without family backgrounds really unemployed after graduation? After graduating from college, I found that college students are really everywhere now, and there are a lot of them. Today is July 21st, 2024. It has been more than half a month since I left school. I rented a small single room outside. Every day I submitted resumes on several recruitment platforms, but they were all ignored, and there were very few replies. Many people are unemployed now, but they don't want their families to know. So they go to Starbucks, order a cup of coffee, and surf the internet for a day. Some people go to the library every day and sit there, pretending to go to work. Some people go to the study room, pay dozens of yuan, and sit there for a day. And some go to the gym and work out with a briefcase. Recently, more and more people are pretending to go to work. Groups of unemployed people go to the library and sit there from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They put a laptop in front of them and stay there all day. Under the wave of unemployment, libraries have become invisible workplaces. In order to maintain the illusion of daily life and avoid family worries, libraries are also crowded on working days. Today, I came to Guangzhou Library to see the appearance of Guangzhou Library and to see if there are any handsome men and beautiful women inside. What are they doing? Are they reading seriously, studying, or sleeping? Or are they in love? As soon as I came in, I saw many people playing with their phones and sleeping. Most of the people in the area you see now are studying hard, and some are watching movies on their computers. Basically, those sitting on the sofa are sleeping, playing with their phones, etc. And few people are studying or reading. Everyone is sleeping soundly, so I won't disturb them. This is the real situation of Guangzhou Library. Every time I come here, I see many people sleeping here. Too many people have to sleep under bridges. Life is too difficult. there are videos showing that there are a large number of unemployed young people living under the Guangdong Bridge. They don't have a fixed job or money to pay the rent. Sometimes they rely on picking up waste and selling it for money to exchange for food. There is a group of young homeless people living under the Guangdong Bridge. They don't have a fixed job. Living under the bridge, they refuse to leave despite persuasion, because once they left, they would face high living costs such as rent, water, electricity, fuel, rice, oil, and salt. When they were hungry, they gathered together to cook noodles, and there was not even a single vegetable to be seen inside. Sometimes they would also broadcast live, dreaming of when they would be rich and prosperous. But most of the time, they could only make ends meet by picking up some waste. I didn't expect that there would be so many young vagrants in this peaceful and prosperous world. In addition to young people who can't find a job, there are also some unemployed and indebted middle-aged individuals living under the bridge, as well as delivery workers, couriers, and street vendors. Many people don't even have tents or quilts, and they lack adequate clothing and food. They can't afford the rent. The rent in Guangzhou is over 1,000 yuan per month, while their monthly salary is only slightly more than 3,000 yuan. Living in a bridge hole can save them more than 10,000 yuan a year. In addition to sleeping in bridge holes, some people sleep in parks, internet cafes, or on the street to avoid paying property fees, management fees, and water and electricity bills. Here are the homeless individuals sleeping under a bridge hole in Shenzhen. More than a dozen people are sleeping under this bridge, all under the age of 30. In this narrow bridge hole, sleeping in a tent is neither breathable nor ventilated. There are many mosquitoes during the day and insects at night. An unemployed young man, Xiao Shu, pseudonym, said that a large number of factories in Kunshan had shut down, and workers who were unwilling to leave did odd jobs to make a living. However, there were fewer odd jobs this year, and the daily wage had dropped to 130 yuan. They lived in the bridge hole, enduring hunger and cold. He said, "Now we all live in the bridge hole, 20 people. The cold weather is unbearable and we can't stand it. We have tents, but there are too few quilts and clothes. There is no job. I am an unemployed drifter, and I have been unemployed for 3 years. I can't find a job. No one wants me. I also want to do food delivery, but I don't have an electric bike. I'm too poor to buy one. Wow, what a strong smell. There are really people living here. They used boards to renovate and live in this space. It's completely full. Look at the ground here. They use firewood to cook, and the doors are all locked." In a park in Guangdong, several unemployed young people were living and sleeping on benches, but they were driven away by policemen and not allowed to stay there. The trees in the park still had their spare clothes hanging on them. In Guangzhou, Shanghai, and other big cities, people sleeping under bridges were also driven away by the authorities. The whole family is unemployed. The Great Depression is coming. Beijing, Shanghai are also finished. We are ready to give up delivering food. He had his salary cut for more than 2 months, but he insisted on delivering food for 27 days. He came back last night and told me that he didn't want to do it anymore. From December 1st to yesterday, he only earned slightly more than 450 yuan in total, which is just 1,000 yuan a month. It's not suitable. First, the battery of our electric car is not very good. It runs out of power after a few orders. In addition, it is difficult to grab orders now, and the unit price is very low. I spend 4 hours every night and can only earn 40 yuan. Not only do I tire myself out, but I can't warm up for half a day after coming back from a cold day. China's economy continues to deteriorate, and the youth unemployment rate remains high. The main reasons are weak domestic demand, shrinking foreign markets, and foreign capital leaving China one after another. Before the new year, the wave of layoffs became more severe, and even big cities such as Beijing and Shanghai were no exception. Today we will talk about China's unemployment wave. On December 19th, a Beijing woman posted on the internet saying that her whole family had lost their jobs, which truly highlighted the difficulties faced by the Chinese people. This post quickly went viral. The post stated that she had been unemployed since January and had been taking care of the baby at home full-time. Her younger brother, who worked in construction, lost his job in October. Her father-in-law, who was an architectural designer, lost his job in November. Her sister, who was a financial director, also lost her job in November because her company went bankrupt. Her brother-in-law, a programmer, lost his job in December. So many people in the family have no income, and the only ones who do are her parents, who receive a pension of 100 yuan a month. It's almost the new year, and everyone is sitting at home with wide-open eyes. The title of this post is, "How can a family not go crazy living on 100 yuan? Just holding on." Netizens said, "The Great Depression is coming." Some also commented, "Her parents are not Beijing residents. Otherwise, the pension cannot be only 100 yuan a month, which is the lowest standard pension in the country. Her parents may be from the countryside. If they were Beijing residents, the treatment would be much better than that of rural people." The CCP has always regarded farmers as second-class citizens. Some netizens also remarked, "You can just rob the government and the banks, and everyone will support it." Currently, large and small companies in Beijing are laying off employees and cutting salaries. Many people are doing the work of 2 or 3 people while receiving only one salary. They want to resign, but are afraid of not finding a new job, so they grit their teeth and stick to it. Friends, I haven't found a suitable job in Beijing for 2 or 3 months. In the current environment in Beijing, wages are being cut in half. The Chinese New Year is coming soon. I called my father yesterday, and he said that I should go home early to rest for the new year. I feel that I finally got a job and finally made money to support myself. But after working for less than 2 years, I realize that my parents still have to worry about us. I feel very uncomfortable. Netizen Xiao Wu said that the Human Resources Department just informed him that the company had adjusted its organizational structure and his position was removed, which means he is unemployed. He was surprised to hear the news because he had worked until 11 o'clock the night before, but was informed of the layoff when he arrived at work today. The woman said that her 45-year-old husband used to work in the R&D department of a car company. After being laid off, he has now become a driving instructor. When my father-in-law could get his salary back every month, I had no worries and thought it was okay. But this year, I am more anxious. We have mortgages and car loans for our 2 houses. My husband's salary was fully able to cover them, and our lives were fine. However, starting from January 10th this year, he has had no income. He used his compensation money to pay the mortgage this year, but the compensation money has been used up. This year's living expenses are actually spent on expenses we can't afford, and there aren't many alternatives. We are registered residents in Beijing, and I am particularly worried now that my children will not be able to complete high school in Beijing. If we go back to our hometown, our daughter will be considered a student on loan. In fact, we will face the problem of not securing a loan, so we must ensure our studies are completed here in Beijing. When we first met, I asked my husband, "Now that you are financially free, what do you want to do most?" He said he most wanted to drive a taxi. I don't think I should talk nonsense, but now it's really true. He is now working as a driving instructor. I think he likes to drive, and he knows a lot about cars because he has been doing this job since graduating from college. He is very suited to being a driving instructor. A Beijing netizen posted a video angrily criticizing Monkey. She said that she had worked hard enough. She would leave the house at 7 a.m. and return to the old and small rental house that cost 3,000 yuan at 11 p.m. Netizens left comments saying that it's not that people at the bottom don't work hard, but their background has already determined their life path. Let's take a look at this video posted by a Beijing netizen. I am a computer science major at the Central University of Finance and Economics in Beijing. Over the past 2 years, none of my 3 jobs have lasted long, either due to layoffs from poor company performance or unpaid wages. Living in Beijing is a constant struggle. I grew up here, commuting 4 hours daily, standing on the subway, and working on my computer during the ride. Despite leaving early, coming home late and working tirelessly, my salary after a year is still less than advertised. It is difficult to find a job in Beijing, and it's the same in Shanghai. This 30-year-old master's degree student was also laid off. I am 30 years old, graduated with a master's degree, and have been working in Shanghai for nearly 6 years. I was interviewed by HR 2 days ago and told that the company's performance was not good and the contract would not be renewed. The compensation given to me was N, as I was notified 1 month in advance. In fact, there was some news of layoffs as early as the end of September. Now that I received the notice of being laid off, it was not that surprising. When my father-in-law learned that I was laid off, he kept comforting me, saying that the employment environment in Shanghai has been really bad in the past 2 years. Companies large and small are laying off employees, and I am not the only one who has been laid off. Shanghai netizen Yaya's husband has been unemployed for 2 months, and now she is also facing layoffs. Can I still find a job in Shanghai? I took a day off today to send my son to school and to adjust my mood. My father has been unemployed for 2 months and has not found a job yet. After a wave of ups and downs, I may also lose my job. I heard that the company is going to lay off 40% of its employees, but I don't know if I will be laid off. Our monthly mortgage payment is 9,000 yuan, plus daily expenses and rent in Shanghai, which adds up to almost 14,000 yuan a month. The pressure of life really overwhelms us. This woman studied in the United States and couldn't find a job after returning to China. Hello everyone, I returned to China in 2021. I studied product design before, but after graduation, I worked at a US packaging design company for a year before returning to China. At that time, it was difficult to get air tickets because of the epidemic, and the tickets cost hundreds of thousands. That job just saved me, allowing me to stay there for another year. But after returning to China in 2021, I have been trying to find a job. Every time I went for an interview, the companies either accepted my work but didn't respond, or thought I didn't have enough experience. So I went around and around and couldn't find a job. In recent months, China's layoffs have become more severe, but the data released by the CCP showed that the unemployment rate fell in November, which aroused widespread doubts. A blogger in Shanghai revealed that this is because unemployment also has requirements. First, you must have an urban hukou. Rural hukou holders who have land to farm are not considered unemployed. Second, you must have had a job before and paid Social Security for more than 1 year. So college graduates who don't have a job are not considered unemployed because you have never been employed. So how can you be considered unemployed? Third, resignation is not considered unemployed. You must be fired by the company and have received a dismissal certificate issued by the company. Fourth, you must have worked for more than 3 consecutive months. If you are a part-time worker, you are not considered unemployed even if you don't have a job now because you are in flexible employment.